Recently, some interesting Splatoon trivia did pop up onto my Twitter timeline from dataminer 0xred, which I didn't know about before. It is definitely an interesting discovery made by dataminers NWPlayer123 and Dr. Ye quite a few years ago, so I'm sure some of you guys might have heard about this already, but I didn't until quite a few days ago. And yeah, the discovery I find really interesting, and yeah, I just want to talk about it in this video. So what NWPlayer123 and Dr. Ye discovered is that early Splatoon 1 textures were found in Super Mario Maker, and early Splatoon 1 build was found within the files of Super Mario Maker, which is definitely really interesting. Why on earth are Splatoon 1 files in Super Mario Maker on the Wii U? It definitely is quite odd, but yeah, it definitely is quite interesting. And yeah, we got to see what Nintendo were planning for Splatoon 1. We got to see the early sort of stages of Splatoon 1. Maybe this was at the stage where they were deciding on the main characters for Splatoon. Early on, Nintendo were struggling with the main characters. They went from white tofu blocks to Mario characters to rabbits, and then finally they settled on Inklings, which I'm really glad they did settle on Inklings. I did talk about this in an earlier video, maybe early on in the year, maybe in 2018. But yeah, the early textures within the Mario Maker files definitely is really interesting. A lot of gear is in those files of the game. It looks like most of the shoes actually made it into the final game unchanged, but yeah, the hero gear looked a lot different. The headset looked a lot different to what we know currently in the game. It was originally going to be a lot different, and yeah, the headset, it sort of resembles that of the noise cancellers, but you do have a microphone attached to the headset instead. And yeah, that is quite an interesting design. I would love to see that sort of replicated in more gear in the future. I definitely think it does look really cool. Early weapon designs look a lot different as well. The Inkzuka was originally going to be in its own class called the Launcher, so we could have had an extra class in Splatoon known as Launchers. I think that would have been quite annoying to come up against. I'm sure that is the reason why Nintendo decided against doing a launcher class in Splatoon. But yeah, it definitely is an interesting discovery. There looks to be like a pistol like weapon that they were originally going to go with. I thought this was going to be what the Splatshot Junior turned out to be, but apparently this pistol like weapon, according to 0xred, is what the Splattershot Pro would have been like, which definitely does look really interesting. And in terms of the Splattershot itself, it was going to have blue and red variants, which definitely does give me some ideas in terms of like I've come up with like a challenge system in the past, which I think Splatoon 2 definitely needs right now. Now that we aren't getting updates for the game, Splatfests are over, I think having like challenges to go for, having something extra to go for in Splatoon 2, I think would definitely be very beneficial. And what I did suggest is maybe if you do complete challenges, you do unlock either Super Sea Snails, or maybe you do unlock different sort of weapon camos for your weapons. So yeah, seeing a red Splatshot, seeing a blue Splatshot, it's kind of got me thinking that Nintendo could definitely go down that route if they did decide to do a challenge system like what is in Super Mario Maker. Well, not Super Mario Maker, I meant Super Smash Brothers. But yeah, I definitely would love to see, especially right now, having something extra to go for. Maybe that is something we will see in Splatoon 3, but yeah, those red Splatshot and blue Splatshot variants definitely does look really cool. Of course, we got the green one instead as the final one in not only Splatoon 1 but Splatoon 2 as well. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on the blue splat shot and the red splat shot? Of course, at the moment in the game in Splatoon 2, we have the weapon badges to go for inking like all of that turf. You do get certain badges, so yeah, I guess you do have that in the game at the moment. But yeah, I would have loved to see a challenge system in the game, and that is how I did come up with my Cali's Challenges series, which will be returning really soon on the channel hopefully. But yeah, that is not the only discovery made within the Super Mario Maker files. The suction bomb was originally going to be a tennis ball. The squid beacon was originally going to be a flag. Disruptor did look like a real tranquilizer bomb before its design did get changed into a chemical sort of flask or bottle. The Ink Strike was originally going to be a fireworks sort of rocket instead of a missile, and the Killer Whale was originally going to look like the Ink Sucker, which yeah, I'm really glad they did change the design of the Killer Whale. So yeah, I definitely did find it really interesting seeing what Nintendo did originally plan for Splatoon before they did sort of decide on what is currently in Splatoon and what made its way into Splatoon 2 as well. Definitely did find it interesting to see like the sort of process Nintendo went through in terms of designing Splatoon. I'm not sure whether some of this stuff did pop up in the original Splatoon art book. If it did, then I probably might have talked about it early on in the year on the channel. But yeah, it definitely is interesting to talk about again within this video. I just found it really odd but cool nonetheless that leftover textures for Splatoon 1 was found in the files of Super Mario Maker. I'm really surprised that Nintendo didn't sort of clean that stuff up and take it out of Super Mario Maker's files. And yeah, let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section below. Before I do end this video, the October ranked stages for Splatoon 2 was announced, and yeah, pretty much I will be putting the screenshots in the background of this video. Don't forget, next week on the 10th of October there will be a new Splatoon 2 update fixing a glitch with the Ultra Stamp, and yeah, if there is anything else added in with that update, then I will of course bring that to you on the channel. But yeah, what I will be doing, I will be uploading more of my ideas for Splatoon 3, and yeah, I think this series does get a little bit more interesting starting from next week onwards. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, and yeah, we'll see you in another video soon hopefully.